Assalamu alaikum once again. In this program, I just want to demonstrate how to add your record to a data grid. So if you have your program like this, you want to work with data grid. Already I have the code, but for example, what I want to have is where one can just enter biodata, select a date of birth, for example. Let's just choose any random date of birth, an email. We just have our own email, something like this. Sorry. And phone number. Then we select a zone, northeast, for example, Adamawa, and state. Well, for now we don't have any state in Adamawa. Let me choose this one, Kano, and that Kano, for example, Pagi. So what I want to demonstrate is how one can, by clicking this add button, it will just add the record here. When you have another one, you click, it will add it to the next record. And also, when you want to edit a button or a record, you just double click, it will just take that record up to your controls so that you can edit it. This is what we are going to do. Already for now, I have my code, so I'm going to comment it and rewrite that particular code for the benefit of those that want to learn. So in the first place, we want to get, whenever we click, we want to know the number of rows here so that we know where to add it. For that, we just now need to declare the rows, for example, number of rows that we have now. Rows is equals to, so we look at the name of our control, this data grid, the name of DG data. So we just use that particular name. Just go there and just use this equals DG dot count. So this will count the number of rows. When we are running at the first time, we have only one row. But remember one thing, in BB, the index starts from 0. So when you have data grid like this, we have one row, but the index, the location of this row is location 0. When you have two rows, so the first one is location 0, the second one is location 1. So we now pick the number of rows. Then we use a with statement with data grid dgv dot rows, then dot cells, but we can just take our rows down here, dot rows, what row, n rows minus 1, because the first one is at index 0 and the number of rows at the start, we have one row, at least one, we have one row, but the index is 0, so we need to find a way to create 0 here. So we want to make it dynamic, so it's going to be 1 minus 1, which is 0, dot cells, then comes the column. Also for column, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but also columns start from 0, so we have 0 position, first position, second, third, something like that, or position number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6. So for the column, we want to put our staff number here, we want to put it here, which is what, column 0. So we could just say column 0 dot value is equals to what, txt staff number dot text. So this one will accept the text, the staff number we have, and assign it to the first row, that is the first column. So, and we are already at the first row. So let's try only this one and see what are we going to have. So if the first staff number is this, we just add, it will add it to the first one. So let's see what we'll do when we have the second one. It will replace it. So we need to, after adding that record, we need to add another blank row. So in that regard, we just at the end here, come and say dg data dot rows dot add. So let's see whether this one will do. So we go there, we add our staff number, When we add it, so it's adding at the top. So we need to rechange our code. So first of all, we add the row, then we place it at the first position. So we take this one up. So this is how to, now let's run and see. We have the first one, we add it. Then we have the second one, we add it. So you see, it's going to be adding another, it will add empty row first, using this one. Then it will take, if you have first, you have one row, it will add the second one, so you have two. When you have two minus one, you have one. So that is how it will be adding. It will add a record next available one, and it will, after it will take this one to the next available one, then it will add another empty row. So this is how it will continue. So for the rest of the data, then we see the rows, we repeat this minus one dot cells. That is, so for name we want it to be here, column 0, column 1, the index 0, then 1. This one will be just automatically 1 dot values is equals to what? txt full name dot text. So this is how we will continue. So I'll just copy this one and just apply for what? Date of birth. That is this second column. We have what? The next column is what? Date of birth. Then we have what? Font. For font, 3. Then we have for 4. So this one is for date of birth. We say the one for date of birth is dtp dot value. That we are taking the value of this property. When we are running, the value of this property will be assigned to this area. So we just put it like this. Then we go for what? For email, we say txt email dot text. I hope I'm right. Email, then phone number. We go for this phone number, txt phone number, phone.text. Then after text, what do we have? We have after email, email, no, we need to rechange it. For date of birth is column 3, less column is 2. Yes, for email is column what? Phone number is column 3. So phone number is column 3. Then email is column 4. Sorry, column 4. Then the last one, which is what? Local state. State is in column 5. So we put for state for column 5, which is equals to cmd states dot text. Then the last one for local government, cmb dot local government dot text. That is the 6th column. So now when we run staff number, for example, 1, name, Imam Musa, we assume the same date of birth, Imam at gmail.com, phone number 08063, just some random numbers too. We select a zone, we select Kano, and we select a local government. When we add, it will add it. When we go there and change for the second step, we assume we are just having new information. We just change this one, we just change this one to 2, we just add. So it will just keep adding, keep adding, keep adding. This is how to add your record from a text or some other controls to Datagrid. These few lines will do the work. But in a situation whereby you by mistake, as you are changing the record, you didn't change the staff number. Staff number is supposed to be unique for each staff. If you click this one, it will keep adding. But we need to find a way to restrict adding these phone numbers, this staff number. If we have duplicate number, it will stop the user from adding. So in that regard, what we are going to do, then we need to apply for what? For loop. When we pick the number of rows, then we apply for loop. For index from what? first row, which is what? 0, 0, to the last row. The last row is what? N rows. But remember, -1. If we have 10 rows, the last index is row 9. So we need to subtract 1 from the number of rows. When you have 5 rows, the last row is empty. So we're going to work with only 4 rows. So the number of rows you have -1. Then you come and use an if statement. If what? A particular column 0, because the index of the first column is 0. So we test that if dgv.rows, which row? The index row. That is, it will start from index 0, first row, index 1, second row, to continue like that. Dot cells. But for the column, we are referring to only first column, which is column with index of 0. Dot value is equals to what? txt staff number. If it is equals to, then we say what? Message. We display a message. Dot show. We display message to our user. What are we going to say? The first one, the text, the message. Duplicate staff number, not allowed. We close. This is our message. Comma. The next comma is for the caption. For the caption, we put duplicate staff number. Then the last one, we just want to have just OK button. OK. If you want yes or no, you apply yes or no. When you want to use for a try, you try. Each one has its own value. So we just apply OK and just close it. So after this one, we exit the subroutine, the function. We want the application stop here. When you have duplicate number, stop, don't continue. So don't add the record here. If we didn't put this one, it will continue and add our record. So when we run it, the first one, let's assume one, name Musa, that is his name, email. We just put some random information. For phone number, we just type some numbers. Zone, west, northwest, for example. Kano, because it's only the Kano that we have, we add. When we try to add, even if we change the remaining information, but we try to add again, it will tell us duplicate staff number, not allowed. Did you see this message, not allowed? It's exactly the first message you have here. And the second one is what the caption, that is the header, what you have up here. And the last parameter is for the button that you have, the button that you have it here. So when you click OK, it will continue. But in the situation where we have another information for the second category, the second step, if you click, it will add. If you try to add the same thing, it won't even try to go. So we need to make sure this one will allow you to make sure you don't have by mistake, you don't have a duplicate value in respect to phone number, in respect to staff number. If you want to apply the same thing to phone number, maybe you want to use a phone number for a particular information, you want to have a unique phone number for each user, so you also apply the same thing here, but you change the cell, the column. The column, instead of 0, we have 1, 2, 3. Then you put 3 there. So it will ensure that you don't have any duplicate phone number. So also, if you want to have for email, you use 4. If you want to add for any other, for example, account number, you want to ensure that no duplicate number in duplicate account number is applied. So you apply it to the column that you are referring to. So in a situation whereby after adding, you want to clear the text boxes, all the text boxes. So in that regard, you just come to this place and use a for loop for each item, for each, for example, C, as what? As me.call this one in me.control. So it's referring to that particular type. For this one is for text box. But for combo box, if type of C is combo box, so this will go to the combo box, then direct cast C, combo box. So as we are applying this property to all the combo box, this one is if we're applying this particular property to all the text boxes, but this one we're applying this property to all the combo box. So see here, we say select item. So we change the property to select item. Now, if we run this one, for the first one we have our staff number, then we have his name, Imam Musa, and we have email, just random properties. Let's just select this one. When we add, it will add it and change all the properties. So it will give you a chance to put new record. You don't need to keep clicking anytime you add a record to your data grid. So this is how to take your information and send it to data grid. In our next tutorial, what we're going to see is how do we, after clicking this add, we send the information to database and also add it to our data grid. We send it to database, then we add it to data grid. That's what we are going to look into that. And also, I remember we need to see how we can edit our record before we send it to database. So in our next video, we're going to see how we can edit our record by just clicking this one. All the information will come up and we edit it. We use an update in order to correct the information. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe my channel to have notification for new videos.